Welcome you all in this educational video of NIOS. This is Subject Library and Information Science, code number 339, Senior Secondary Level, lesson number 8. Name of the lesson is Electronic Resources. This video is part 4. Let us now understand how e-resources are managed step by step. We will discuss all these steps in detail. You can see the slide. There are various steps available. So we will begin with the first step. The first step is selection. After doing the selection, we proceed towards the acquisition part. And when we have acquired that content, that e-resource, after that we go to the staffing. And then after staffing, the next step is licensing. And next to licensing is the step which is budgeting. And the next step which comes after budgeting is cataloging. After cataloging, the next step is maintenance. And when it is done, then the next step is staff training and user education. We will discuss all these points in detail in further slides. You can see the red which explains e-resources may be selected by any of the following methods. So let us now understand the 4 methods out of which anyone can be followed. The first method is serendipity. It means finding by chance something which is useful and beneficial, which happens when we are surfing the net, when we are sitting on the internet and surfing the net, and just by chance we happen to see any content which is useful for us. So we call that as serendipity. Another method of selecting the e-resource is the faculty recommendations. The third method of e-resource selection is reviewing of the electronic journals which are provided by other libraries. So this is another method which can be selected for finding the e-resource. And then the fourth method is publishers' advertisements. So the publishers also advertise their own content or their publications. So that is also another method of selection. If there is any new publication, then one can go through that content. Now this is the second step, which is acquisition of e-resource. You can see the headline in red color, which explains that e-resource acquisition may involve following steps. So these are the 4 steps which you can see on the screen also. The first step is determining the price. Then second step is negotiating with the vendor. This negotiation can be related to the content, related to the price. And after the second step, the third step is completing the licensing agreement. So all the terms and condition which we both agree, that comes under this licensing agreement. And then the fourth step is allocation of funds. The fifth point is the fifth step, which is in continuation of the previous slide. It tells that after receiving the fund, we place the order. And the next step is sixth step, which is verifying if the titles we chosen, they are accessible or not. The seventh step is communicating with the vendor if it is not accessible. And the eighth step is processing the invoice for payment. This is the next step, which is staffing for e-resources. The library has to decide if acquisition functions for e-journals will be performed by the regular staff or any other staff who has expertise in dealing with the electronic formats. So for this, staffing is important. And for staffing, in order to acquire and process electronic resources, the staff requires the skill of negotiating licenses, familiarity with the electronic format, etc. So the staff needs to have all these skills which are important for the staffing process. The next step is licensing of e-resources. We know that a license is usually a written contract or agreement which is between the library and the publisher. And an agreement has various aspects like methods of calculating the payment, how do we define the user, and what are the different restrictions about the use of the content, about the different rights, archival rights, etc. So all those terms and conditions which both the library and the publisher talks about and they have concern, they mention all those points in their agreement. Licensing agreements are generally written for the vendor's advantage. So the library staff has to be extra careful to negotiate the favorable terms for the library. Now this is another step of budgeting of e-resources. Libraries usually have a separate budget for procuring e-resources. The next step is cataloging of e-resources. All the e-resources are cataloged and their details are entered into the library's OPAC. We all know that OPAC is a software. With the help of OPAC, we do many work which is online, and the entries are done online and the library work can get processed quickly. Some libraries may decide to list all the content on the website, and they also provide their links. But also there are some libraries which may not catalog their content. The next step is maintenance of e-resources. For e-resources, maintenance is an important issue, and library has staff to maintain e-resources. The staff ensures that the subscribed e-resources are accessible on IP. We know that IP is Internet Protocol. The library staff who is looking after the maintenance work, that staff ensures that all the subscribed e-resources are accessible on IP and they are shown under the institute website. So the maintenance of e-resources is an important task. There are some of the e-resources which are accessible with the help of username and password. We know that username is also known as login ID or login name, and to access and to reach till the content we need a password. The next point which is on screen, it indicates the staff is entrusted with the responsibility of distributing the username and the password to the authorized user. And if in case the e-resource is not accessible and the staff is not able to resolve the problem, then the same problem can be communicated to the publisher so that publisher can resolve the problem and the user can access the content. This is the last step, which is about staff training and also about user education for e-resources. We know that the staff has to be trained in accessing and browsing and retrieving information from the internet and from the e-resources. So for this, libraries need to conduct different programs for user education in order to teach the users how to use e-resources and also promote and enhance the use of e-resources among the users. So that all the users of the library who are coming to the library, they can easily access the content and utilize that in a better way. So for that, staff training and user education for e-resources is an important step. Thank you.